Could proposed new China tariffs be a headwind for growth? The IT industry saying, quote, we urge the president to delay this unnecessary escalation before more consumers and workers are harmed and instead make a concerted effort to build a coalition while he is in Europe this week and then negotiate with China to achieve tangible commitments. The CEO of the IT Industry Council, Dean Garfield, is with us this morning, along with Greycroft's partner, Ellie, who's here with us at Post 9. Good morning, guys. Good to see you both.
Good morning.
Thanks for having us.
Thanks for having
Dean,
us.
There's a Fitch report out today. They say escalating trade protectionism, cascading supply chain effects could have an outsized effect on a few companies, but two that they name by name are Intel and Texas Instruments. Is that sort of the way the industry is feeling?
Well, I think it includes tech, but extends beyond tech. The supply chains for all companies are incredibly internationally integrated. China is central to that, and so the president's tariffs will certainly have an impact on those supply chains, but perhaps more importantly will have an impact on consumers and their wallets. When you get to $200 million in tariffs, it's hard to be surgical, and so the impact will be broadly felt.
Ellie, it's still a small percentage of the economy overall. What's the concern, if there is any, in Silicon Valley, for example?
Yeah, sorry.
I was asking Ellie here at Post 9. Go ahead.
No, again, I think it's too early to tell. I think people are still trying to shift through it. But to Dean's point, it comes down to consumer spending for a lot of it. If you're thinking about a lot of these direct-to-consumer companies that supply chains are, maybe they're manufacturing in China, maybe components are coming from China. It's really wide-ranging and pretty complicated. So trying to splice all that out and understanding how their costs are going to be affected, and ultimately then if consumers are going to spend less, or that's going to have more of a reverberation for a lot of our companies than a specific line in this particular measure.
Just to sort of dig in this a little bit further, Dean, there was a report in New York Times this morning how rare earths could be crucial in the U.S.-China trade war, highlighting the fact that so much of the rare earths materials that the world now depends on, and particularly the tech industry, but whether it be smartphones or whether it be renewable batteries and electric cars, et cetera, are mined and coming out of China, and what would happen if that became a part of China's retaliation towards these tariffs from the U.S. Are you hearing that from some of the companies you represent?
Yeah, absolutely. The concern is twofold. One is the cost increases that may result in the United States that will be an impact on consumer spending. And then second is the retaliatory impact of China. The $200 billion is greater than the trade with China, and so the likelihood is China is going to look at other approaches for having a reciprocal impact, including limiting access to the market or maybe limiting access to the kinds of minerals that you just mentioned.
Ellie, so is there a plan B that is being developed among the startups that you talk to, whether it is supply chain related when it comes to China, or whether it is other markets, emerging markets that they're looking to get into? China has been a popular market for all those consumers, people to look to attack. Are those sorts of strategies starting to emerge?
Yes, they are, but I would say that has preceded, those strategies were already being developed, and that's partially because costs in China are rising, actually. So it's not necessarily always the cheapest place to manufacture, and having multiple sources and multiple countries and, especially in this macro environment is generally an intelligent thing to be exploring, if not necessarily already shifting some of that manufacturing or some of that development. So that has already been kind of in the works for a lot of these businesses, but you'll see it accelerate if this is obviously going to be impactful for that particular business.
Hey there, thanks for checking out CNBC on YouTube. Be sure to subscribe to stay up to date on all of the day's biggest stories. You can also click on any of the videos around me to watch the latest from CNBC. Thanks for watching.